Being a resident is tough financially. I mean, it beats being a student for sure. At least you have an income now. But let me give you a few tips that might help you to be a little bit more financially successful during your residency. Number one, choose a low cost of living area residency. Now, the strength of the residency program and your fit with the residents and attendings are probably the most important factors in choosing a residency. But take the cost of living of the city into consideration at least a little bit. High cost of living residencies are best for single people willing to live with roommates, or perhaps for married people whose spouse is working. But it's just a lot harder to live on about the same income when it costs a lot more to live in that location. Number two, focus your budget on the big rocks. The big expenses matter most. That means housing and transportation. If there's ever a time to drive a beater and live in a dump, it's when you're a resident. Plus, the lessons in frugality will serve you well once the big bucks start rolling in. Three, be reasonable about safe areas and good schools. It's important to recognize that such qualities come at a significant expense. If your income falls within the median American household income, it is realistic to expect a living situation with average safety and average schools. Feeling entitled to the best schools and a house in the best neighborhood with an average income is unreasonable as a resident. Number four, get rid of entitlementiasis. You might be a doctor, but you're certainly not being paid like one. Most residents are paid something very close to minimum wage once you take into account all the hours worked. You're not entitled to a lavish lifestyle yet. The degree you have completed really prepares you to do only one thing, to be an intern. Learn to be frugal now, and the luxuries you want won't be far away. Number five, boosting income. Cutting spending isn't always the answer. Sometimes it is far easier to boost income than cut back anymore. Moonlighting and having a second paycheck from your partner can really help during residency. Finding a job early in that final year of residency and securing a sign-in bonus can also go a long way. 6, borrowing money should generally be a last resort for a resident. Borrowing from family often comes with unwanted strings attached. Do yourself a favor. Choose a residency in a town where you can afford to live on a resident salary, then live on a resident salary. If you do these 6 things right, you will do a whole lot better off financially during residency. Now, you don't necessarily need to become rich as a resident, but you do want to make sure you get your financial ducks in a row as you get started so you can hit the ground running when you become an attending and start making the big bucks.
The hosts of The White Coat Investor are not licensed accountants, attorneys, or financial advisors. This podcast is for your entertainment and information only. It should not be considered professional or personalized financial advice. You should consult the appropriate professional for specific advice relating to your situation.